friends. Thank you for coming back to Elevate with Erica. If you're new here, I am a 38-year-old fitness coach, group fitness instructor, motivational presence on social media and in the podcasting world. Just consider me your mindset and fitness friend that isn't here for the, hey, this is me on a pedestal, just do everything in my what that I'm doing. This is more a podcast about me walking with you and growing with you. I don't say anything here that I myself don't need to hear or haven't needed to hear at some point. I know I've got some new listeners and some new subscribers on YouTube. And so I just wanted to reintroduce myself because I know it's been a while. So today is a really personal one for me. And I am going to try not to get even emotional. I'm going to try to stay on track. I'm still figuring out this topic for myself today, how it applies to me exactly, and uncovering things from my past. And so I'm just gonna go with it. But if you're new here, buckle up because this is going to be a good one. This is going to be so helpful. I feel that to my core that this is going to grab someone. And then we're going to do some good work today. So I'm currently elbow deep in a new personal development book that I'm loving. And I say elbow deep, even though I'm only 40 pages in, because that's how deep it has already struck me. That's how pulled in I already am. I don't know the author. This is the book Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima. You might know her, but I don't think I know her personally. She doesn't know who I am. And so I'm sharing this book genuinely because I'm loving it right now. And I feel like the words on these pages were pulled from my scattered brain and then put on these pages for me to make sense of my own thoughts. So I have to say, I only picked up this book because of a book club kicked off by my friend in the business, Aaliyah, online. So if you're listening, thank you, Aaliyah. I think that you were part of a grander plan that knew I needed this in my life right now because I wasn't gaining clarity on it on my own. So I have to be honest with you. I heard several people on social media talking about this book. And I didn't order it because I wasn't sure that I personally needed it. So here's the thing about me. I think I've said it here before. I'm not just going to pick up a personal development book because someone else says it's good. It's called personal development. And if it doesn't address something that you personally need to work on, then don't waste your time just making yourself feel good, right? Like you're flicking through the pages thinking, "Yep, that's me. I already know this." I think that good personal development should make you uncomfortable. So when I saw the title Worthy and then the subheadline, How to Believe You Are Enough and Transform Your Life, I thought, I mean, my confidence is fine. Do I really need that one? I know I have amazing skills and abilities. I know my strengths and I'm proud of them. But I don't know why. As I was wrapping up a book I was reading, High Performance Habits, it's right behind me, great book. And then I just happened to come across Aaliyah promoting her book club and asking people to join in. I don't know. Something about the timing of those two things was like, fine, I'll buy it. And I now know it's because it's exactly what I needed. And I have to share with you what I'm taking from this so far because I know that I'm not the only one in need of this in my life right now. My favorite excerpt from the book, and yes, even though I'm only 40 pages in, I think it will remain my favorite through the completion of it because it was the moment that it all made sense. It was the moment that I knew this is the book that I needed in my life. Everything I've been battling with mentally since the foundation of my marriage was rocked last year, I feel like has just that is why that perfect timing happened and this book landed in my lap. So I'm working through this, you guys, to how do I word this? I'm working through this to thank the pain that brought me here. I'm working to be able to do that on my marriage and in my walk with God, the work that pain that happened in 2023 brought me to. It brought me and my husband to working on ourselves as a couple and independently more than anything I've ever come across, more than anything, more than ever. And then it also brought me closer to God. And but I'm still not ready to thank the pain yet. And I hope that I can grow to get there one day, but it's a process. So one day, one day. And I hope that made sense to someone. It's really hard to get to a point where you can thank the pain that you went through, you know? But the excerpt, that is my favorite, and it's on page 6. If you have the book or you plan to grab it after you listen to this today, feeling unworthy wasn't aligned with who I truly am and with the person that I was created to be. See, my soul knew I was worthy, but I let my thoughts and my mind's deep belief about my own unworthiness overpower my soul's knowing. That is so powerful to me. You guys, every time I read that, and I'm dying to do it again right now, but I'm not going to bore you. Every time I read that, I want to read it 5 more times because it's so aligned with my thoughts and where I'm at right now. That made it all make sense. So we then spend the next several pages differentiating between self-confidence and self-worth. That's what I was confusing. And this is where it all started to make sense for me, because I have really battled with saying that my confidence was rocked after what happened in my marriage last year. And I would say it out loud in talking with others about my experience, in talking with my husband and working on us. And I know I've said it on this show in a couple episodes, but then when the words would come out of my mouth, it didn't sit right with me. Like there was this internal voice that would go, Erica, what are you talking about? You are confident AF. But then emotionally, I'm holding back tears because there was something there that I wasn't able to articulate until I picked up this book. It wasn't my confidence that was hit. It was my self-worth. And I've been basically using those interchangeably when they're not the same at all. So Jamie goes on to define self-confidence as while it's an internal trait, it's linked to your assessment of how you compare to the outside world. So it's how you evaluate yourself based on your qualities and your skills and your traits. And it's how strongly that you believe in your ability to meet life's challenges, your willingness to try and go for it and to succeed. And that's what I'm full of, self-confidence. That's what almost held me back from getting this book, because I was equating that to worthiness. I strongly believe in my ability to handle whatever life throws it my way. And I am always willing to at least try and just go for it. Hell, one of my favorite mottos for life is to do the damn thing. It was almost the name of this podcast. It was in the running. But hear this definition of self-worth. It is the internal, deep-rooted belief that you are enough and worthy of love and belonging just as you are. It's believing you are enough, lovable, and valuable innately and exactly as you are. Okay. So I need you to really think about this with me, because I actually think this is something that a lot of us battle with because we just aren't aware of the difference of the two words like I was, or because we try to push it down so we don't have to face it even, though it may be exactly what's holding you back from your next level, from the best version of you. Because it's really uncomfortable to say, I don't feel worthy, but I'm also confident AF. Right? It almost feels contradictory, but I'm trying to work that out in my mind now. This is something I'm working to. I do understand the difference in the definitions, but it's something that I never differentiated in my mind up until this point in my life at 38 years old. So can you honestly say that you are worthy of a seat at the table, of being in a loving relationship, of having empowering friendships, of starting the business, of writing the book, of running for office, of earning that certification or degree, of mastering that hobby? of showing up authentically online or with your group of friends, of leading the team, of breaking the generational cycle of sharing your story to help others exactly as you are right now. Do you believe that you are valuable innately and exactly as you are right now for those things? Do you believe you are valuable enough right now? Or do you feel that you need to be more, do more, learn more, or maybe even be less of who you are to have those things in this very moment? Do you say to yourself, I can have those things when? When I have more time, when my kids are out of school, when I hit that goal weight, when I have more experience, then I'll be enough to have those things, to be worthy of those things. It's you talking yourself out of those things without even realizing it. Talking ourselves out of the person that we were meant to be today, saying that we will have it on a tomorrow that may never come. Self-worth is foundational. It's the belief in your value as a person today, not when, today. And it doesn't matter how great my self-confidence is if I don't believe I'm worthy today. Another quote from the book on page 23, self-worth is your foundation. Self-confidence is the house you build on top of it. And your house will only ever be as secure as the foundation that it is built upon. And here's the truth. I don't know that my self-worth, my foundation, has ever been what I would call secure. Ever. Since childhood. Since trying to fit in when I was very little, under 10, trying to fit in, not just to friends, but to my family. And then to the things that happened in high school. But my confusion with self-worth and self-confidence always tripped me up when I would talk about my high school days as well, because I would say I didn't care what anyone thought of me, that I knew that I was tough and I could get through anything. But yet internally, I would be thinking, well, then why was I so sad during that time? But then I got a little more steady in adulthood. But it took just a few cracks since the pandemic, and then one good hit last year for it to crumble because it was never actually secure. I wasn't aware of it, honestly. I thought, if I'm confident, I'm good. And I can face whatever life throws at me. I'm independent. I'm stubborn AF. I'm confident in my abilities. I'm good. But that wasn't actually the case for me. And I know this is resonating with someone else too. I wasn't good. I wasn't okay. And it's what I'm struggling with today. I could go through a series of events throughout my life, but this episode would be too long. So I just want to mention a couple major rumbles of my self-worth in recent years. If you're new here, I left my full-time government job in June of 2020. Yes, in the middle of a pandemic. It's not the focus of this episode, so I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but in a nutshell, I was already feeling like a shell of myself in that job, and I was feeling its effects on my marriage and in my parenting. And then the pandemic happened, and most of the staff was sent home because none of us knew what the heck was going on. So it turned into me trying to run a department alone from home with 2 kids on digital learning, which ended up not being very independent at all. They needed me. Not to mention my kids couldn't be left home alone yet at that time. So I left the job scared, and not with my husband's approval either. But long story short, because again, that's not the focus of this episode, it was something that I had to do for myself. So when I lost that title, HR director of a local county, It sat okay with my confidence because I was confident in my abilities to build something else. But what I didn't realize is that it wasn't sitting well with my self worth because it hurt when people would ask what I do. And my husband was no longer responding proudly that she's the HR director for XYZ County. He looked a little lost on how to respond and would kind of just look to me to answer. And then it would bother me even when I responded. And I would be met with condescending looks and remarks, especially the one I know I shared about it on this podcast that I received on vacation a man came up to a man asked my husband what he did for a living. My husband responds, he's, by the way, a lieutenant at the local police department. And then the man asked me, and I respond. And then he looked at me and responded with, "You're lucky to have him." And that was a tough one to swallow, which leads to the next dent in my self worth. I was now standing next to my highly respected lieutenant of a husband, as he should be. But I was standing next to him as this, what everyone else seemed to just deem as a housewife. And as tough as a housewife's job is, and I'm not talking about like the real housewives of Beverly Hills, I'm talking about the homemaker, the mom, the cook, the cleaner, the taxi driver, on and on and on, right? As full of a day as that is, it's still not a widely respected position in my experience, in my conversations with others. So I felt overlooked next to my husband. And in that same time, what I was doing also wasn't actually even respected by my husband either. That's a different story. Now, or at least it's a work in progress. We've come a long way. We have done a lot of deep work in and on our marriage to repair it from 2023. And honestly, I feel his support more now than I have since I left that job. And I didn't realize how unworthy that I would feel without that title. And so I've spent the past 4 years trying to achieve something that people respected again, seeking that feeling of, okay, now I can proudly say what I do. Now I'm worthy of success, of this pay, of these friends, of being at that table. But the crazy thing is, I have achieved a lot in those 4 years, and I still don't feel worthy. I think that my worthiness was tied a lot more to income than I wish that it was. As Jamie puts it in the book, you don't have a net worth issue, you have a self worth issue. And that may be different for you. Maybe it's a goal weight for you, or a job title, or education, or something like that. But for me, it had a lot to do with my income. My husband started to pull away from me in those years following my exit from that job. And I know that income means a lot to him. And I kept thinking that when I make this amount of money, when I achieve this rank, then I will feel the love from him that I did in the beginning. And I don't think that there's anything wrong, by the way, with wanting to make money. I want that too. But my personality is also that I would be good living with a lot less than we have right now, even though I'm always working for more for my family. But I kept thinking, when I reach this level of income, oh, then he will be proud of me. Then he will proudly say what I do. Then he will shower me with affection again. And this isn't me blaming my husband, because I think that you can see that this has a lot more to do with me than him. This was the value that I was placing on myself. It's not up to anyone else to make you feel worthy. Someone else maybe can help boost your confidence, but your worthiness is on you. So my self-worth was very tied to the amount of money I was making. Then 2023 happened, and my marriage was rocked for a totally different reason than my job, title, or my income level. This time, my self-worth also became tied to my image. as a result. It opened up a wound from high school that was very similar to, if I looked more like that, then this wouldn't have happened in my marriage. I must not have been good enough as I am, or that wouldn't have happened. If I was more that, he won't need to look anywhere else. Then I'll be worthy of his love and affection. I'm not worthy of it now because I don't have what they have. It sounds confusing because I think it's easy to hear those things and think, she must have low confidence. But I'm very confident in my own skills, abilities, and image. I like who I am. But on the other hand, I don't feel worthy of this marriage until I make the right amount of money. I have the right amount of success, and I look like whatever got his attention. I wasn't enough as I am. So I should say that in the present tense because now that I'm aware that I have a self-worth issue, I'm actively working on it. And I like the way that it's stated in the book that the journey to recognizing our self-worth will be one of the greatest journeys any of us take here on earth. I love that it's called a journey because right away it takes the pressure that this book is just going to fix me overnight. It's a journey. And I hope I've invited someone listening to this to take this journey with me. I felt called to share this with you today. It's deeply personal. But I also know that when I battle something like this, I'm not alone. And I have to use my platform to help someone else know that they aren't alone too. I'm on this journey with you. That's why I started this whole thing. I feel the pain with you, but we can grow through this together. And my soul knows that I'm worthy. It's like part of who I am. I know I am smart. I know I am amazing at a lot of things. I know I can do what I put my mind to. I know I deserve love and good friends and success, but I have some mental things going on, some thoughts going on that keep telling me otherwise because of things that have happened in my life. And I've never worked to build my foundation, my self-worth. I know that I'm about to do great work with this book. And I'm sure that I'm going to have some upcoming episodes on more light bulb moments that I have, on more key takeaways that I know can help others, on more personal stories from my own life to remind you that you're not alone in this. And this isn't an episode full of tactical tips and tools to take away, other than just to maybe make you aware that it's something that you can work on. And honestly, that's the first step to this journey that we can take again together. And to tell you that if it opened up something for you today, if you had a light bulb moment too, then I highly recommend this book, Man or Woman. It's an episode of honesty and openness because there's enough, look at my perfect life everywhere else, right? There's enough of that. This is what I'm working through right now. And I want to invite you to do the same. And I want to close this with this. I said before that I have achieved a lot of success in the past 4 years. Since leaving behind my government job title, I've reached the top 1% of the company that I now partner with. I've earned 3 certifications. I am a NASM certified personal trainer, a group personal trainer, and a group fitness instructor. I've earned 6+ trips for me and a guest. I've earned some pretty cool bonuses. I built this podcast on my own. I finally did something that I've wanted to do for years, instruct group fitness classes, like since I was a little girl. I'm in the middle of the creative process in my first guided journal. And there's more. I've been busy. But in that 4 years, sitting here today, after all that, I don't feel enough. That's just me being honest, right? Because this just came to me. This just all started making sense to me why something felt off. even though I'm doing so much work on myself and in my marriage right now. I don't feel valuable or lovable enough as I am. It's really hard to say out loud. I feel like I have to do more before that happens. Hear this from Worthy, page 31. You can achieve all the things that make it look like you're a success. But if your internal identity and self worth still tell you you're not enough or not worthy of love and belonging, then you'll feel imposter syndrome when you reach a goal. You'll feel like it's never enough no matter how much you accomplish. You'll feel unworthy of love and not understand why you feel empty in a relationship. You can live out and experience every great thing in the world and feel unfulfilled the entire time because your deep sense of self worth has debilitating cracks in the foundation. Silver lining, I am aware now, and this is something that I get to work on. I was listening to a little 5-minute podcast from Lori Harder yesterday morning, and she said to name this type of phase in your life as your initiation. This is your initiation for your next level. I'm going to have an upcoming episode where I dive deeper into that, by the way, because so much came up for me in just that little 5-minute episode. My little brain was like, "Duh-duh-duh." But that's how I'm looking at this realization of lacking self-worth today. This is our initiation phase, and we will continue this in the next episode. I'm excited for this phase, you guys. It's much better than where I was before when I didn't know what the heck was going on, but I just knew I wasn't happy no matter what I did. I'd rather be here and working through this with you. I'm excited to grow through this. I'm excited because I know it'll increase my capacity to help others and show love to others, and also to be an example for my kids so that they learn this sooner than I did and they build their self-worth foundation sooner than I did. I'm excited for us deciding to take this journey together today because self-worth is going to help us endure what life throws at us. And gosh, I know that it throws some things. I found out in 2023. So let's build a stable foundation together. Thank you for being here with me today. If this episode resonated with you today, or if you know someone who needs this message too, would you please share it with them or share this on social media? So much of the success of this show depends on you and your word of mouth and helping me get the message out. So I appreciate you. If you have 10 seconds, go leave a rating and review too. Until next episode, friends.